Hi, I am Ara, your Great Place Wellness Practices Submission Guide. I will be supporting you in your task of submitting your company's practices as a part of Great Place to Work assessment process. We will cover the following in this video. Health and Wellness Model, our unique framework to assess Workplace Wellness Index. Understanding of Wellness Practices. Wellness Practices Questionnaire. Structuring the practice submission. Wellness Practices Evaluation Criteria. In this section, I will take you through the health and wellness methodology. Great Place to Work India uses dual lens framework to understand and assess the culture of holistic well-being at the workplace. The weightage stands at 70% for the employee voice and 30% for the practice submission. There are 6 key levers that have been identified as aspects that impact the psychological and physical safety of employees at the workplace. The focus on the areas defined in these levers enables an organization to create a workplace culture fostering holistic well-being, in turn inspiring high performance by employees. Responsible leadership. This lever talks about the initiatives that focus on the senior leadership of the organization promoting and supporting the holistic health of all employees. Please mention practices that you have around top management communication forums, for example town halls, blogs, podcasts, or one-on-one meetings. You can mention practices that foster a culture of sharing organization-wide information, open listening platforms, sharing value stories, and leadership equipment and empowerment programs. Supportive managers. This lever talks about the initiatives that focus on creating positive relationships between an immediate manager and the team members. Please mention practices that you have around departmental meetings, performance-related meetings, 360-degree feedback, manager sensitization and enablement programs, mentoring or coaching, and programs to involve team members in departmental strategy decisions. The core is to understand how do you support your managers to successfully manage their teams. Sense of community. This lever talks about the initiatives that focus on developing an organizational culture that is supportive and builds trusting relationships among colleagues. Please mention practices that you have for team bonding, promoting cross-functional teams interactions, peer-to-peer recognition and appreciation programs, hobby clubs, or other knowledge-sharing programs. Autonomy and fulfillment. This lever talks about the initiatives that focus on employee experience of meaningfulness and belonging to the work. Please mention practices that you have around rewards and recognition, programs on taking feedback from employees, involvement in decisions that matter to them, career growth plans, and employee experiencing empowerment at work. Health. This lever talks about the initiatives that drive physical and medical health policies and programs. Please mention practices that you have on medical treatment, annual checkups, insurance, well-being support, fitness memberships, sports activities, and other health-related sessions. Enabling work environment. This lever talks about the initiatives that focus on establishing the infrastructural support required to provide safety and flexibility to employees. Please mention practices that are focused on environment, health, and safety in the workplace. These could include employee assistance programs, counseling and awareness programs to deal with stress or burnout, forums to raise grievances and other concerns, safety drills, and infrastructure audits. The Practices Questionnaire is designed to understand how your organization enables an environment that fosters physical and emotional wellness for your employees. The objective is to understand from policy, implementation, leadership, and data as to how these practices are implemented in your organization. Understanding of wellness practices. In this section, we will cover what are wellness practices and how do they differ from policies and processes. Your wellness practices submission tells us how your organization is creating and maintaining a culture fostering holistic wellness. Hence, we are keen to understand not just your policies and processes, but your wellness practices. Policy. A statutory or regulatory requirement designed for the business. It may not always focus on experience creation. Process. A process guides you on how to get things done. It's essential to have a process so an employee can see what is expected to ensure that the task is accomplished. Practice. A practice is something that is consistently and regularly done, is visible, and is more focused on experience creation. It is usually delivered through the actions of leaders, managers, and team members. How does a practice differ from a benefit? Wellness benefit. A wellness benefit is any health and well-being related facility that an employee enjoys as a perk or a benefit of being a part of the organization. A benefit could be provided with the intent of not only well-being but employee retention, reducing absenteeism, engagement, etc. Wellness practice. A wellness practice is an initiative, program, or a framework that is created with the intent of providing an experience of well-being to employees. These are practiced consistently and regularly, and they form a culture of holistic wellness at the workplace. For example, health insurance for employees is a wellness benefit, and any practice through which employees are informed about the benefits regularly and are encouraged to take their annual health checkups would be a wellness practice. A practice may or may not have an underlying wellness benefit. Wellness Practices Questionnaire. In this section, we will understand the Great Place Wellness Practice Questionnaire. I will take you through the 7 broad questions that you need to respond to. These are subjective in nature. Please note that there is no minimum or maximum word limit to these responses. Business case for wellness. Firstly, we want to understand your business case for wellness. Was there a specific business objective or a business problem that led to an increased focus in health and wellness at workplace? Next, we want to know, how does your focus on health and wellness align with your core values and goal of creating a great workplace culture? Who were the various stakeholders who developed the components of health and wellness in your organization? How were your resources allocated in terms of planning different wellness initiatives? And how was the budget allocated towards various wellness programs? The other 6 questions are directly focused on understanding your practices per lever of workplace wellness. We want to understand what are the practices you have in your organization that demonstrate responsible leadership, supportive managers, autonomy and fulfillment, health, sense of community, and enabling work environment. For each lever, your submission should include practices explained in the given format. Name and description of the initiative, date of launch, frequency of the program, how do you encourage participation, coverage of the program, extent of participation of employees, any challenges faced while successfully implementing the initiative, how did you address these challenges, metrics tracked by you to review the success of the initiative, impact on business. Structuring the practice submission. In this section, I will share some tips for your submission that will help you to share the relevant information and help our evaluators understand your organizational practices and culture better. Paint a vivid picture of your workplace. When writing about your company's programs, what we're looking for is an understanding of what the practice is, how frequently it's practiced, who it serves, how it benefits employees, and why your company thinks the practice is important. You can describe your philosophy behind every practice. Don't just list out your key programs and practices, but tell us how those programs are unique and effective. You can share any number of practices per lever. Focus on quality over quantity and share data on impact. While we love enthusiasm, we don't award extra points for very long submissions. There's no minimum or maximum length for the practices. Share whatever metrics you track and the usage of each program. Keep it specific and share numbers wherever possible, as against keeping it vague like most employees or large number of employees participated. Stay organized. Avoid pasting in text from HR employee handbooks. Call out distinct programs and practices using bullet points and/or bold, highlighted formatting. Keep them simple, understandable, and self-explanatory. If you have multiple people filling out your practices, review it at the end of the process to make sure it seems cohesive and the formatting, organization is consistent throughout the application. Use supplemental materials to tell your story. You can choose to add some additional supplementary materials that accompany your submission and provide more detail that can't easily be captured in your text responses. This could include corporate slogans, corporate philosophy, company history, profiles of founders and/or influential leaders, executive speeches, photos and/or videos of employees at work or participating in company activities, letters related to your company's recognition programs, or anything else that you feel will help us to gain a clear picture of your unique workplace culture. Summing it all up, stay focused on writing thoughtful responses that reflect the flavor of your company. Write like you're trying to convince your friend or family member that they should work there. Avoid sending too much information so your message isn't lost on us, but enough information that we know exactly why and how your workplace is enabling holistic wellness for your employees. Wellness Practices Evaluation Criteria. In this section, I will take you through the parameters for the evaluation of your wellness submission. Design. The name and description of the practice would help us know the intent with which the practice was formed. The frequency of their occurrence would let us know whether the initiative is practiced on a regular basis, say daily, monthly, quarterly, annually, etc., or on ad hoc basis or some other way. Details about how you encourage employees to participate in the initiative can include your methods of communication through mailers, posters, one-on-one discussions, and leadership communication, etc. While sharing any challenges faced while successfully implementing the initiative, please explain the challenge in detail. Provide us relevant examples with data points and metrics. Please explain the who when divided by what, why of the event. Remember that there are no score deductions for challenges being pointed out. We want to know how you dealt with them and any changes in the metrics observed thereafter. Coverage. The next parameter considered for evaluation is the extent of coverage of the wellness practices. Since health is a holistic component, we want to understand that the benefits of your practices are extended to all the employees or a select group of people basis role, team, department, gender, etc. Or if the practice also extends to the family members of the employees. For example, a hobby club where the spouse and kids are also welcome to participate in. Impact. The final parameter considered for evaluation is the impact of the practices on employees, organization, and the community. This includes your answers to the questions. We want you to share the actual participation number or percentage, and if there has been any increase or decrease because of some events. Share specific data bases the metrics defined for success. For example, improvement in participation rate within a defined interval, employee engagement score improvement within a defined interval, ideas received, innovation programs launched, training hours, number of promotions. From within etc. you can share some internal and external survey scores here. Share any document to support the findings. We're looking forward to seeing your application for India's best workplaces in health and wellness list. Thank you for being a part of this pioneering research.